Hi, I'm Mayor Bob Foster, and welcome to Heart of the City.
Hello, my name is Robert Garcia.
Hello, I'm 2nd District Representative Suja Lowenthal.
Hello, I'm Councilmember Gary DeLong.
Hey everybody, I'm Councilmember Patrick O'Donnell, and you're watching Heart of the City.
Hello, I'm Councilwoman Jerry Shipsky. I represent the 5th Council District.
Hello everyone, I'm Councilman D. Andrews of the 6th District.
Hi, this is Councilmember James Johnson, and welcome to Heart of the City.
My name is Councilmember Al Austin. I want to welcome you to the 8th District.
I'm Councilmember Steve Neal of the 9th District.
Hi, I'm Mayor Bob Foster, and welcome to Heart of the City. We're here at a very special place in Long Beach, the Guidance Center. And with us today is Patricia Costales, who runs the Guidance Center. Patricia, tell us a little bit about what the Guidance Center is and how important it is for Long Beach.
I'd be happy to. Thank you for having me here. The Guidance Center is a nonprofit mental health center for children and their families. We help kids from babies, newborns, all the way through to age 18, as well as their parents. And the kids who come to us are very low income typically, and they're very impaired in their functioning. They're struggling, they're sad, and they're scared, and they have worries. They come to us with histories of child abuse and neglect, or homelessness, domestic violence, depression, and we keep our doors open to them to help them in any way that we can through the provision of mental health care.
Now, you work with the school districts very closely?
We do, very closely. We have an excellent relationship, and particularly with Long Beach Unified. They're fantastic. We are in over 22 Long Beach schools where we send our therapists specifically on campus to provide the services there. And Tiffany Brown is wonderful. We couldn't be happier with our relationship with her.
Well, now, you mentioned that you deal with not only the young people, but the family. And I think this is really trying to be an integrated program. Tell us a little bit about the importance of not only dealing with the child, but also the parents and maybe siblings.
Well, nobody lives in a vacuum or operates in a vacuum, so we can't help the kids unless we're helping alter the whole family system. If there's something going on with one family member, it impacts everybody, whether it's because the whole family experienced domestic violence, but only one child is acting out as a result of it, or if it's because one family member is depressed. As a sibling to a suicidal sister, for example, that could be devastating and very worrisome. So we work to embrace the whole family unit and make them all stronger.
Now, you've just moved into this structure,
Yes.
and tell us about why it's important, and you're now in one location instead of several.
Right. I feel very, very passionately about this building. I call it our big green apple because it's so bright and green and visible. When I first became executive director of the Guidance Center, we had 4 locations in Long Beach, some satellites in other communities, but 4 primary locations in Long Beach. And they were all within a mile of each other. They provided great services, but we weren't in the neighborhood where our clients live. And I feel very strongly as a social worker that we need to be in the community that we serve, to be a neighbor, so that we are perceived as being accessible. So it was a 3-year process to find this building. We ran years of client data to determine what neighborhood we had to be in, and then it was hard to find a building that was big enough and accessible enough. We wanted bus lines and a parking lot, and we wanted it to be playful and cheerful and someplace when families walking by to the grocery store would notice us, so that if at some point they needed help, they would remember and they would come here.
Well, you certainly did a great job. I was here for the opening, and I know you've got some success stories, and I was here at the opening with a young gal who apparently was one of your patient students, and she was vivacious, sang a great song, and clearly in charge of things.
She gave me chills. She was quite the performer, 8-year-old girl, and she was more poised, I think, up there than any of us. She was just wonderful. She brought tears to my eyes.
Yeah, it was nice to see, and that's a person who did had some struggles as well.
She has had some significant struggles, so I think that she was able to get up there in front of everybody and do that really speaks to where you can take people if they get help.
Well, Patricia, thanks for all you do. Thanks for helping out a lot of young people in Long Beach. And we're going to talk to a board member and one of your therapists in a moment, but I wanted to say thanks.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Hi, we're back, and we're going to talk to Salmira, who's a supervisor here, but also a therapist. And she's going to tell us a little bit about what it's like to deal with some of the children here. So tell us a little bit about what you do when you meet a child, and how do you go about trying to help, and how does the family get involved?
Sure. Hi, thanks for having me. We have many different clients here, many different age groups. As you heard from Patricia, we see from newborns all the way up to 18. And when a client first comes in, we have an assessment period, which typically lasts 60 days. And during this assessment period, we really try to join with the client and build trust and build rapport and try to gather information from the client's parents, siblings, teachers if we need to, doctors, any other professionals that are in their life. And we try to gather information and try to find out really what's going on with the child and why the symptoms are what they are. And that's what we do during the first 60 days. And then after that, we formulate together with the family, the client and the parents, we formulate a treatment plan of what we're going to do to try to reduce the symptoms, and then we start the treatment. And the treatment could include, we incorporate play therapy, art therapy, it could be music therapy, good old talk therapy, anything we can really.
And do the parents actually become involved when they're here with the child?
Oh, absolutely. That's actually a very, very important part of therapy. We really believe, especially as a marriage and family therapist, that you cannot just help the child alone. The child is it's a system. So in order to help the child, you need to really get involved with the entire family. And we let the parents know from day one that their involvement is really very important because they know their children best.
Now, a lot of people think that, mental illness is something that's in the shadows. They don't understand it. They don't want to talk about it. But I know you've had some success here. I saw one child at the opening I talked about who clearly is remarkable. And mental illness is something you can deal with. It can be treated.
Oh, absolutely. And gosh, yeah, we have had plenty of successes. And I'm also a supervisor here, so I hear about many other cases from my supervisees. And the difference that you see in these kids is remarkable. I was just talking to one of my supervisees, and she was telling me about a client of hers, a 5-year-old, and he was very aggressive and he was acting out really disruptive, and he had experienced a lot of trauma in his life, and his mother was too depressed to take care of him, so they really didn't have that bond. And they've been here for almost a year, and it's amazing how much it's helped the entire family. Their communication is stronger, their bond is stronger, the symptoms have reduced. I've seen a lot of success stories here.
And they perform better in school as a result.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it's important because a lot of these kids, if somebody doesn't get to them, they wind up being the people that you throw out of school. They become, they drop out. They're really not a productive part of society. So this is very important, particularly earlier the better.
Right, and that's why, like we said, we do see clients as young as, I believe we've had a client here that was only a month old.
Wow.
So yeah.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. I want to thank you for what you do. I think we have a better understanding and, more importantly, an appreciation. Thank you very much, Samara. Well, we're here again at the Guidance Center, and we have a very special person, Tim Saylor, who is the president of the board of the Guidance Center. Tim, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit, how'd you get interested in the Guidance Center? We heard a lot about it earlier interviews. Tell us how you got interested.
Well, I got interested in the Guidance Center about 14 years ago, and I started out as a mentor and really saw the difference that the Guidance Center could make in young people's lives. And I really wanted to help disadvantaged kids in our community who struggle with abuse or neglect or bullying or depression, and lead them to a more positive future in school and in our community, and hopefully, prevent future violence and problems when you don't help them with coping skills.
And how big is the board, and what's generally made up of? What kind of folks?
Well, we have all kinds of folks that are both professional, legal, from the Memorial Hospital, from other healthcare providers, attorneys, and real estate professionals. The board is about 18 people right now, and really has done a great job in helping the Guidance Center get into our new home here.
Yeah, it's a great place, and we were here a couple weeks ago for the opening. And how do you get your funds? I'm sure that raising money is always a problem, but what's the funding sources?
Well, predominantly, our funding comes from the Department of Mental Health. About 98% of our funding comes from that source, and that's specifically for low-income kids who are Medicare, Medi-Cal. And the rest of our money comes from grants and foundations like the Miller Foundation.
And do you do active fundraising in addition to that?
We really do, because our contract with the Department of Mental Health is very restrictive, and it doesn't allow us to provide some services to kids that need it that don't fall under their programs. So we're always looking for unrestricted funds to help.
Listen, Tim, I want to thank you and the board for what you do. Doing a great job. This is a great facility. We'd love to have you in Long Beach, and we'll see if we can help you get a little bit more support.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being with us, Tim. Appreciate it. Well, thank you for watching. I think you know more about the Guidance Center. It's a great place and a very important part of our community. This is Bob Foster signing off for Heart of the City. Remember, LBTV, connecting you to Long Beach.